Cuando te digan que Argentina no enfrentó durante la Guerra de Malvinas a la OTAN y sus aliados, dales de comer un poco de historia. Los Estados Unidos, a pesar de mediar durante el conflicto, fue muy evidente la ayuda militar que otorgaba tras bambalinas, sumando Francia y Alemania.
In view of the sensitivity of the situation, I'll have no further comment on this matter. It wouldn't be appropriate at this time, and I will defer all questions until further developments occur.
The United States is helping Great Britain in several ways in this crisis. Can you not comment on that?
I cannot comment. This situation is too critical that any comment, I think, can be taken one way or the other and endanger the peacekeeping or peacemaking process. So,
but the last time you spoke, you said that both sides were our friends, and you implied that there was a certain even-handedness in our attitude. Is that still our position?
But there was no plan for retaking the islands and dislodging a well-entrenched enemy. Sandy Woodward held an emergency meeting of his senior officers to thrash out a strategy.
The prognosis was poor. Our only interceptor, the Sea Harrier, we only had 24 of them against a frontline air force of, as far as we knew, more than 100, so we had to inflict a sort of 6-7 to 1 attrition rate on the opposition, which isn't something you would dream of planning on. And for instance, wasn't what we achieved in the Battle of Britain. And once these 24 have gone, we have no more Sea Harriers. The Americans were even trying to say, would we like one of their aircraft carriers? But it wasn't a practical proposition, because you can't just charge on board and run an aircraft carrier with your own people. You've got to get the Americans to run it for you.
Their astonishment, a plume of smoke rose up out of the heather, went above this car and hit it from on high and destroyed it. The pilot ejected, the navigator was killed, and that was the first use of a Stinger missile in battle, because my friends in the Delta Force had lent me some Stinger missiles to trial on real live operations. What was interesting is that as a result, we fired a number of other Stinger missiles, all of which missed. And it turned out that Raytheon, the manufacturer, had put a wrong bit into the missile, which meant it was always going to miss. And it was a result of the corrections they made. And of course, the Stinger missile did so much good work in Afghanistan, shooting down Russian aircraft. And so in a way, there was a good knock-on effect for the Americans, who were having lent us, quite illegally, the Stinger missiles.
For the first time, Sid Edwards talks about his cloak and dagger mission to help protect the task force from Argentinian bombers.
The cooperation I got in Chile was absolutely first class. I was dealing with the Commander-in-Chief of the Chilean Air Force, working directly with President Pinochet.
Britain, now in bed with a dictatorship almost as brutal as the Argentine junta, negotiated access to vital radar warnings of impending Argentine air attacks.
I discovered that the radar cover from Punta Arenas, which is in the south of Chile, gave very good cover of the Argentinian airfields in the south of their country. And I thought that would be very good if we could get that information as live as we could directly to the fleet.
To pass this intelligence on in time, an SAS team armed with one of Bucky Barris's new portable satellite telephones slipped into Chile.
Our soldiers, using their satellites, were able to give a warning of Argentine aircraft heading for the Falkland Islands to hit the fleet. And that allowed the Harrier to be in position when the Argentine Air Force arrived. So in a way, it was a war-winning capability that Bucky actually lent us.
Chile's secret contribution didn't stop there.
Well, I was asked if we could base a Nimrod intelligence gathering aircraft in Chile. I passed this request on to the Chilean Air Force, and they said, yes, you may, but you can't put it on mainland Chile.
So Sid helped put the RAF spy plane onto a Chilean island in the Pacific to eavesdrop on Argentine air movements. Many of the skilled Argentine pilots still got through, But at least now, there were warnings of some of the raids.
I personally believe, and it's been confirmed by people with much more knowledge than me, that without this information we would have lost the war.
Por su fervor pro-británico, Caspar Weinberger, ministro norteamericano de Defensa, será honrado por Margaret Thatcher y miembros de la realeza con el título de Caballero del Imperio. Varios diputados conservadores censuran los reconocimientos que implícita o explícitamente han puesto al descubierto el carácter decisivo que tuvo la ayuda de Estados Unidos en el resultado final de la guerra, observando que si bien esa circunstancia es conocida por todos, constituye un desatino el admitirlo públicamente. Funcionarios del gobierno de Reagan enfatizan por su parte el peso determinante de dicha ayuda, que según los informes oficiales habría consistido en 57 millones de litros de combustible para aviones, 200 misiles aire-aire última generación, cuya efectividad en bajas supera la cifra obtenida con el resto de armamentos. Sistemas de armas, materiales críticos, repuestos y municiones, el apronte del portaaviones Guam y otras naves para suplantar eventuales pérdidas de la flota, y un flujo de información que cubrió el 98% del total que manejó la inteligencia inglesa durante la guerra.